Yes.
Will be talking to us about. So Toyin is a principal consultant at Lefort Consulting Limited.
Yes.
She's the Techy Accountant. She calls herself the Techy Accountant. That is really right for this moment that we're in. She's an INSEAD Alumni, and she's a member of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA. She's a certified digital innovation expert in finance, and she's a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN. So let's welcome Toyin Olufon as she takes us on, what's the topic? On finance management for educators in this pandemic. Thank you, Toyin. Over to you now.
Thank you very much, Mrs. RJ, for this opportunity. And I can see you got my slides. Yay. Yeah. All right. Okay, I'm not supposed to do anything from my hand because I can't see my face.
Oh, okay. You can see your face, and we can just tell us when to turn the slides, and then you can.
Okay, that's fine. I'll be talking about finance management for educators in a pandemic, which is what we are in right now. More than ever, it's imperative that everybody becomes an accountant. Before now, people have always said that accountants are stingy people. But now you see that we are not stingy people, just that we are very prudent. And that's what we are trying to do, right? And this is actually...
Yeah, you can see that now. Now we can see you.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. So it's actually a life skill that everybody should have, you know, the ability to be prudent with their finance. And the pandemic has held every one of us to ransom in this light. Please, can you move to the next slide? So for finance management, we'll be looking at cash flow management because that is what is really, really key to every business. There's something we normally say. We say that turnover is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is king. Turnover, not that important, not really important. Profit, yeah, it gives you some sense of satisfaction, you know, but cash is king at every point in time. Also, for majority, cash inflow right now is less than cash outflow. I know a few people are still making a kill right now, so it may not really affect them, but for majority, our inflow is less than our cash flow. And the question is, how do I manage the little inflow I have to still get the best result or to still get everything that I have to get done, right? Then only businesses with adequate cash flow will survive and thrive post-pandemic. It's just the reality, which is all, and it's just the truth, because as I said, cash is king. It's only when you have cash, you'll be able to carry on with your business. The moment you're cash trapped, there's really nothing you can do. You may not be able to achieve your goal. And that's why more than ever, it's very important you pay attention to the cash flow in your business, in your school right now. Because I know that most schools are not earning as much as they used to, you know, because of the pandemic. Even schools offering the online courses, they are offering it at a discounted price, you know. So it's very imperative you manage this cash flow and still, you know, achieve the desired result. Please, the next slide. Let's just dive into the different cash flow management techniques I'll be talking about today. The first one is you should bargain a shorter receivable days. And what do I mean by that? The major source of inflow for schools are actually the school fees that are paid by the children, right? So I know that, so I'm going to talk during pandemic and post-pandemic right now. Now, even for the online school that you're providing to the parents, it's very important, just as the previous speakers have said, that it's very important for you to have a policy in place regarding to your online learning, and also that should include the fees, the terms of payment, which you should hold them accountable to, right? Creating a school fees payment policy is very key. If you don't have one right now for your online school. And post-COVID also, when we are back to the classroom, have a school fees payment policy. It's very, very key. I know that, in fact, some of the stories also I've had is that before the pandemic happened, for some schools, most of the students had not paid anything. Then the pandemic happened. Trust me, even if I'm the parent also, I'm not going to pay anything, right? And a lot of schools are, you know, they are trapped in that right now. But if you had a policy in place, you will still have some cash flow right now. And the guide, there are different ways you can make the policy as flexible as possible, putting into consideration putting into consideration the ease for parents also. But one thing that I would say that should inform your policy is that the initial payments from the parent or guardian should at least cover the operating cost of running the school for the term. Remember, I said operating costs. So that means the day-to-day cost of running the school. That should be what the initial payment you are requesting from them should at least cover, so that when cases like this pandemic happens, you know, you still have cash flow to get on with the business, and you will not be trapped. You will not be cash trapped. You will not be, you know, in a less advantaged position. Please, the next slide. The next slide, please. Okay, another one, cut costs. More than ever, you need to cut costs right now. And I will give you different ways to do that. First of all, for the online class, it requires some capital. Because there's a general rule that says that you have to spend money to make money. So regardless of the fact that it's an online class, you need to have some money to be able to run it. Now, to ease the financial burden on you, you can pick one grade per time, not just for the cost implication, and also for you to master it. Just as the previous speakers have said, there are a lot of schools right now online competing. It's a very tough space right now. There's a lot of competition going online right now. And what you should work towards is to securing your space in the online platform, securing your own target audience, so that post-COVID, you still have them on board. And something that will make you stand out is actually quality. And with the constraints, with the financial constraints also you have right now, it's a good time for you to leverage on that also. You know, just pick one grade, create an online content. And as I said to Mrs. RJ also, that the mode of learning, something also I've realized from all the online teaching I've seen, is that most schools don't realize that the mode of learning has to change. It has to change because there's no physical presence. Your students are actually looking at the screen. And even as adults, right, our attention span are kind of short. Even when we're looking at the screen, it's either a phone, we want to pick our phone, something is distracting us. How much more a kid, you know? So the mode of learning has to really, really change. Then the next one is get the best teachers available. Now, I remember when this pandemic started, I had to call my staff and I told them that their job description is actually on hold, you know, because of the pandemic. You're unable to prepare tax, and if you're a tax consultant, you're unable to go to the tax office right now. There's nothing for you to do there. Audits, not really much, you know, we could do a little, but you can't really do much, you know, because of the restriction of physical access, right? So I told them that the only way you're going to thrive during this pandemic and post-pandemic is that you need to step up to the present job description that is available, which is what every one of us leveraging on the digital or on technology, you know, to push our product out there, to get more clients. That's what every one of us should focus. The same way for your teachers, right? You need to help them have that mental shift, you know, so that I realize that some people too are just stuck to doing things the usual way. I know change is quite difficult, but you need to be able to convince them that they need to move, you know, from being that annoyed, from that less digital teacher to becoming a digital one. And just as the previous speaker says, training, that will also help. But however, the beauty of online teaching also is that you can source for teachers also to help you put this content together, right? You could source for teachers who have the skills, who are ready to help you put this content together. Another one, renegotiate with your landlord. If the property you're occupying right now is rented for your school, this is how many months gone now, you've not earned any revenue, you know, and you're not even occupying the property. So this is the best time for you to start speaking to the landlord. how much, like, can I get after the expiration of my rent, can you extend it for 3 months, for 4 months, for 5 months? That will also help you to reduce the financial burden on you, right now. Look for more affordable substitutes. Yes, this is the best time for you to look for more affordable substitutes for the things you use in your school. This is the best time for you to negotiate, and every business is actually open to that, because they are not making so much money. There are not too many people, buying so many stuff right now. So this is the best time for you to negotiate and say, see, because of what is happening, this is what I think we can afford right now. Any cost not essentially imperative to the running of your business should be cut off. Every excesses has to go. Every excesses right now, you need to cut it off. So a good way for you to know the excessive that exist in your business is from your financial statement. I don't know if you prepare financial statement from for your school, but the financial statement will highlight all the different headings of costs that you have in your business. And just by looking at it, trust me, it triggers something in your head to know that, okay, we can do with this. This is not important. This is more important. And this is a skill that is very, very important right now. Please, next slide. Another one, sell obsolete assets. If you have assets that you are using in your school right now that are not, that are really old, and you've just been managing it, and almost every week you are getting an engineer to come repair it. It could be your generator, it could be the school bus, it could be something. It's not worth it keeping those assets right now, because what they were doing before is to take away the cash flow that you have. And now with the pandemic, you have limited cash flow. So you don't want to spend it on things that are not necessarily value adding right now. And this is the best time for you to dispose of any obsolete assets you have in your school. Now, bargain logger payable days. Yes, payable days. This has to do with your suppliers. Whoever is supplying you anything, this is the best time for you to bargain a longer period of time for you to get to pay back. Typically, in fact, what we say is that you must, typically what we say is that the receivable days must be shorter than the payable days. So that what that means is that as your clients are paying you, you are using it to pay your supplier, and you are never cash trapped, right? And that should be the guiding principle also henceforth. Then put existing assets to other use, e.g. your school bus. I know you have some assets in your school right now that are just laying, they are just there, they are not being utilized. But you could also think of alternative ways of putting this asset into use. Your school bus, you could choose to partner with an essential service and say, okay, I'll provide my bus. If you don't want people to see the name of your bus, you could use something to cover it. You could use something to cover it for the interim. Yeah. Then build your online presence. This is another good one also. For some people, they don't even have the money to set up the online school, but there's something you can do also right now, which is for you to build your online presence, build your engagement, and from there you can get post-COVID, you can get new students attending your school, So, but my point is that don't put this period to waste. It's either you're doing online course or you're building your online presence. It's very imperative. Also, purchase inventory that your present capacity can consume. Yes, post-COVID, there's no point going to buy so much inventory, textbooks, chalks, whatever you're using. There's no point buying so much if your present capacity will not consume it, because what that means is that it will just tie up the cash, the limited cash that you have in your business. So you want to ensure that you're judiciously utilizing the cash flow you have in your business at every point in time. And we have a golden rule about cash flow management. If you are not aware, please be aware and always work towards it, because if you have done this before now, probably you will not be cash flow trapped. We normally say that at every time, you should have at least 3 times of your operating costs, stacked somewhere, either as savings or just laying fallow somewhere. So assuming your operating cost in your business is, let's say for every month, let's say it's 500,000, we are saying that you should have 1.5 million naira just in your savings. And why we are saying that is because of a time like this. It's because of pandemic, so that, you know, you're not cash strapped. You still have money to run your business. Because when you're cash strapped, there's a higher tendency for that business liquidating, and for you not being able to generate revenue, not to talk about profits, right? But if you have cash, you'll still be able to carry on the business, and you'll be able to, you know, pull through this hard time. So it's, if you've not been doing this, please take note of this. Have at least 3 times of your operating costs kept somewhere. I think, yes, it should be kept somewhere. Thank you very much for your time. And yeah, question time. Thank you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. I can hear you.
All right, thank you so much, the Techy Accountant. This was really, you reminded us of so many things that, I mean, it all boils down to discipline. It all boils down to discipline. I'll say that for a lot of us, we know that these are the things that we should be doing, but the question is how many of us are actually on track and how many of us are doing this. I would like to, we want to make sure that we keep all our participants till the end of the meeting. So I'd like to take questions now. Somebody said even personal finances requires that you spend less than you earn and have 6 months of spending. That's true. So I would just like to throw the floor open now for questions so that we can feel our participants have been very, very, you've been there with us all through, and we want to thank you and appreciate you for all that. So if you just raise your hand now, and if you take your questions, some of you have typed questions in the link already, I mean the chat box.
Mrs. RJ, sorry, please. Somebody said she's been trying to get in and all that. I don't know. Is it too late?
No, it's not too late. It's not too late.
Saying that.
I can't see them. But let's move on to the chat.
I get the link because, you know, the other link we have to do.
Okay, I'll do that. Let's move on to questions now. Okay. Any questions?
Adiola, I thought we would have finished the session before the questions.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, I thought we would have finished the sessions before the questions. Just so because of time.
Hello, yeah. Can you all hear me now? We're changing the turn of events now. We're supposed to have Miss Irene Uba, but I would like us to take some questions first because she will be talking to us about staying positive through the season. And just to be sure that our participants and our listeners are still there with us, and I can see that we've gone like 1 hour 45 minutes already. I'd like to take a few questions just to stimulate engagement and to make sure that everyone is still listening to us. So that's why we have changed that a bit. Apologies, I didn't warn you beforehand, but that's the reason. So we'll just take questions from the floor now. Did you unmute everyone? Yeah, you can unmute yourself if you have a question. Hello? I can't hear anyone. Am I still there?
Someone is talking.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello? Anyone with questions for now?
Hello, my question.
Okay, please.
Questions have been posted earlier. Maybe you should start with those ones.
Yeah, can you just, we need to hear from you. You know,
Question.
We talked about feedback, so I want to be sure that
question on finance.
So can you please just speak up? We want to hear another voice from the audience. That's why I'm allowing this now. I just need to hear someone else.
Question on finance.
Okay, please go ahead.
I want to find out, how about some schools that have not put their financial statements, financial records on, into, they have not converted it from normal writing to technology, touch. I don't know if they heard me.
Okay, am I supposed to answer? Should I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, please.
This is a good time for you to make that transitioning from analog to digital.